Have you ever wondered why development in Africa is so difficult? Do you ever think about if development in Africa is difficult? Do you have your own thoughts, your own reasons? On top of my head, I'm already thinking of politics, the diversity, the inability to work with people because of different, historical contexts that were caused by colonial masters. That's just what I'm thinking about. But so there's this video I want to react to from Think Big Think. Why development in Africa is so difficult. 4-minute video. The comments are pretty interesting. I haven't watched the video yet, so we're going to see together what it looks like. What factors contribute to Africa's development dilemma?
I don't think there's a single answer, but the one that I think is the most important factor is it's the politics. To misquote Bill Clinton, it's the politics, stupid. And that goes back to the colonial project, the way Africa's societies, between 6,000 and 10,000 political units that existed pre-colonial times, were carved up by outsiders, simply drawing lines on maps and, between Germany, France, Britain, saying, right, that bit's your bit, that's bit, we'll put the line there, often dividing whole societies. And these states have got, Nigeria, for example, 400 languages, 400 separate languages and counting. That's what we're talking about. Maybe as many or more centers of old political power. So it's the overlay of these new states on old societies. And states that had, those societies had no part in their creation at all. They were just created and then handed over to them suddenly. In the 1950s and 60s, you're independent now, off you go.
I think he has literally just nailed it. I was expecting a similar answer, and he has put it so well about the fact that they just divided people who it didn't matter what do they have in common, or oh, this looks nice, this shape is nice. I mean, I'm not a historian, so I don't know how it was done, but the results of this are still felt, and I'd love to see where he takes it to go with the whole idea of Africa, of why development on the continent is so difficult. Maybe he would be able to explain it. Let's see how it goes.
And to think you can create a nation state like that was always madness. So it is the evolution of those societies that I think is it'll take a lot of time. It'll take generations for those nation states to create the sort of feeling of citizenship that Americans have or British people have. And so I just don't think, I think that's the core of the failure of development. Lots of countries going along nicely, suddenly huge political upheaval, maybe even civil war, all destroyed. Everybody flees, the money shifts out. And I think that's one. And I think the other one, which is closely linked to it, is that Africa's politics have fallen into the hands of elites, as the Nigerians would call them. These are a class of people who are pure business politicians.
The elites of the village, the village people. Man, this is so true. The whole idea of politics on the African continent. I mean, I'm not a politician, I'm not around for government, but it feels like anybody who has any kind of power just wants to use it for personal purposes, for business. Somebody, when you know somebody who works somewhere, is your opportunity to leverage their position for your personal gain. And yeah, business politics definitely is something that is stifling a lot of our growth, 100%.
And business and politics go together in Africa. You cannot stand as a poor man. I came across a wonderful example the other day from Kenya, where a man who cycled around on a bicycle was trying to get himself elected. And the people just laughed at him. And they say, you've only got a bicycle. What can you do for us? We need a big man with a big car with money. That's the politician we need to. So there's this mentality, which I think has allowed a very small group of people to take over those countries politically, but also economically. And that's why you have something like, I think the World Bank says between 60 and 70% of Africa's capital shifted out of the continent. It's in banks in Europe.
Man, when you have presidents who leave to go get health care in other countries, when you have the France CFA, which is basically soft colonial bondage that has been existing for all French-speaking Francophone countries in the continent. I don't know if I should be encouraged that people are talking about it. I mean, this is 9 years ago. I don't know if there's been much has changed. I don't think much has changed, actually. I don't know. If you think much has changed, let me know, because it feels like he's talking about something that's happening right now, in my perspective.
And Asia and maybe America as well. But these people just do what the colonialists did, which was suck the wealth out and shift it overseas. And until that changes, that is, until there's a new generation or even a revolution that actually takes power back to African people, I think those problems, that lack of development, will continue.
What is the outlook for investing in development?
The answer has been, well, why should we invest in Africa as outsiders if the rich Africans don't invest in Africa? And that's been the case up until now. But I think it's changing. I think there is African capital flowing back into Africa.
I mean, a lot of the videos that I've done so far on the channel with Wadamaya, Taya Aina, I mean, look at even the YouTubers who are winning on YouTube from Nigeria. They're in the country, and it's just a small sample. It's a very small sample size. But I do think that a lot has changed. You have people who want to come back, people who want to invest in the countries, and who think about the ways to, leverage their knowledge, their skills, their connections from out of the country and actually build something within the country. So I do think that a lot of that has changed. So 9 years ago, this is what I was saying. I think when it comes to 2021, a lot has changed when it comes to people who are wanting to reinvest in the continent. There are many people, like even in Cameroon, for example, there's this young man, what's his name? Roland Famundam, who is basically changing the landscape of the country when it comes to greenhouses. I mean, why am I going to find my dad, who's been working on this project for years, for over 25 years, 25 years. And he's getting to a point where he has land and he's planting these, things and growing them. So there's a lot of people who are reinvesting in the country and who want places to go, like even my buddy, Zekasho McViban of Bakwa Magazine. Like there's so many people. There's people who are reinvesting in the continent and who are rebuilding. I think that's pretty cool.
Africa, not just from remittances from African diasporas living overseas. I mean, 20 billion a year until recently. Not sure which way it's going to go now, but also some of the big men who are very, very rich men indeed are beginning to say, actually, maybe I can invest in Nigeria
Dangote.
and do better than I can by investing in New York or in Switzerland or somewhere like that.
Hey, that was a pretty short, brief, sweet conversation. I don't know if they're going to give me a copyright strike for this. If you're watching it, it means they didn't give a copyright strike, because whenever I do a reaction and that happens, I just rather not put it up. But what do you think? Do you agree with what he said? Do you think it's a good idea? Personally, I do think that he raised a lot of solid points about the effect of just dividing people through lines because it looked nice on the map and you're just leaving them. You're now independent. And then you have all these powerful people who, in this mindset of politics being linked to business, and even if when somebody shows up who has maybe a good mindset and wants to actually change the country and change the community, people laugh at him because he doesn't have the money to do it, the money to bribe and to corrupt people. So, but I mean, his last point basically was about how things are changing, and since that was 9 years ago, I do think that a lot has changed. You have a lot more people who want to go back, people who want to invest and grow within the country, and many people are seeing that the landscape is really, virgin, and people can still start things, businesses, and I mean, I don't know, actually. Let me know in the comment section what you think, because I do think that there's both ways. The people who really want to leave and the people who want to go back, and there's this, the meet in the middle, and things are a little bit different. But I definitely think that many more people are seeing the value of investing in the country, of collaborating with other African countries and of building. I mean, I did a video recently about President Nana Akufo-Addo, who was basically telling the Swiss government that they were no longer going to export, cocoa for chocolate. So I do think that things are changing, and Maybe they've changed faster than I think because I don't know these things, which is why I'm doing this reaction video. So please, if you've seen a video that will be interesting for me to react to so I can learn more about these kinds of concepts, politics and culture and things that are changing on the continent, please let me know in the comment section. Maybe add a comment, put a link there. I'll definitely watch it. And yeah, in the meantime, my name is Kamga. I'm a Cameroonian, currently living in the US. I love to get perspectives from different stories like this and bring them to you so we can have the chat in the comment section. I'm not able to respond to a lot of my comments because it's getting really a lot. I'm sorry. But I'll do what I can, okay? So in the meantime, I'll see you in the next video. Do your best. Let God take up the rest. And remember that whilst you're breathing, while there's life, there's hope. I'll see you in the next video. And I'm tired. I need to go to bed.